We are rolling.
Hi everyone, thanks for coming. I'm Chandler Wharton. Jody Pickle once said, "Parents aren't the people we come from, they're the people we want to be when we grow up." Today I'm going to discuss two people that I've known since the day I took my first breath. I'm going to talk about my parents, Pam and Fred Wharton, but I'm not going to talk about them individually. I'm going to talk about them as a whole and how their relationship has affected my 21 years of life. My parents have been married for 25 years, and they've taken care of my older brother Zach and I from the beginning, and I've been fortunate enough to be close with them since. I'm going to pay tribute to my parents' relationships and talk about how together my parents worked as a team to show me how to love through hard times, work for my money to be financially independent, and how to be patient with loved ones. Let me begin with how they've shown me how to love through hard times. With marriage and love comes hardships, both as a couple and individually. But my parents have always remained strong through these hardships, and they've taught me that a successful relationship only comes from hard work. One way they've done this is when I was 20 years old and my brother went to rehab. My senior year of high school, I was just 18, a month shy from graduating, and my brother was 20 and he was fighting a 3-year heroin addiction. With this knowledge and this news coming up, my parents both obviously had very different opinions of the addiction. They were raised very differently, so while my father was raised to believe drug addicts really don't have a place in this world, my mom was more nurturing because she is an alcoholic brother and a brother who passed away from an opiate addiction. So when my brother checked into rehab, I was living with two adults who really, it seemed like they didn't even know each other. It was to the point where for some weekends, my parents would get me a hotel room just to be away from all of the drama. But with time and, of course, my brother's sobriety, he was 3 years clean, they worked through it, and they just showed me that anything is possible if you work together. Another passion of my parents, they go on a lot of motorcycle rides, and my mom's always on the back. And November of 2016, it was a really nice day for November, so my parents went for a ride, and they went about an hour and a half away, and on their way home, they T-boned a deer, and they slid about like 50 feet on the blacktop. My dad had to ditch the bike, but since then, they've both just been sad. They don't want to go out much. They're sort of going through PTSD together, but like I said, together they're starting to do more. And while my brother's drug addiction, they were separate but still trying to work together. This was something they went through together and got through together. My parents taught me not only how to love through hard times, but how to be financially independent and stable. My whole life, my parents have not kept many secrets from my brother and I. If there was going to be a rough couple months, there was going to be a rough couple months, and we were the first to know. My father was a lumber salesman. Since he was 18 years old, he worked at a company called Lumber Products, and about 10 years ago, it closed. So when it closed, he was struggling, obviously, with what to do. So he worked to get a job at another lumber company, but he took a big pay cut, so he picked up an extra job working overnight at Super Fresh stocking shelves. I've been fortunate enough to not want for much in my life, but I've been taught the value of everything I'm given and everything that my parents work for. Now my dad works at BJ's and he owns his own siding company, and my mom works for Bucks Community College, but she works at Doylestown in the public safety training school. So they're in stable jobs, but they've taught me that to get to a stable, comfortable place, it's going to take a lot of hard work, and some months are just going to be worse than the other. Another example is my work ethic. I've had jobs since I was 15 years old, usually 2 or 3 at a time, aside from being a full-time student. I was a manager at a couple ice cream shops, and then I moved on to retail at Gap, and I've always babysat on the sides. I learned that if I wanted to drive, if I wanted to go out, I was working for my money. I was not getting handed cash every week to do what I wanted. And I'm now a full-time nanny. Now that I know the value of being financially independent, my parents also taught me patience. Patience can make or break a relationship, especially a 25-year one. There's bad days, but the only way through it is patience, not only with each other, but with the relationship. My grandmom on my mom's side was just diagnosed with dementia and Alzheimer's. and my mom's in the process of helping her move into Twining Village. So she's gone about 3 nights a week, 1 night on the weekend. So with that, my dad's had to pick up a lot of the stuff around the house, as have my brother and I. But my mom is very emotional, of course, and my dad's not a very emotional man. He's tough exterior, but he's been really good with, like, I'm in awe watching him be patient with my mom when she's emotional. Not only have they been patient with each other, but they've also been patient with my brother and I. I am a full-time nanny, and I have a 6-year-old boy named Lachlan who is a little troubled and who's homeschooled, and a 2-year-old toddler, Piper. And I have some really hard days, but I mean, it's all about patience, and the patience my parents taught me, I put into work every day. My parents individually have a special relationship, and they made me the woman I am today. Through them, I have learned to love through hard times, be financially stable, and they've also taught me a great example of patience needed in a relationship. More and more as I grow up, I find myself becoming a lot like my parents, and for a while this idea turned me off, but adulthood is teaching me that there's really no other people I'd rather be. Thank you.